John chapter 3, verse 14 is the illustration of the brass serpent. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whoever believes may in him have eternal life. Now this verse refers us back to one of the most unique stories in all the Old Testament. It took place in the book of Numbers. We find the Israelites are in rebellion against God, and so God sends a deadly plague of fiery serpents. They were fiery not because they looked red or had fiery colors, but because the result of their bite was a fiery fever inflicted upon the people who ultimately would die. The people cried out to God for mercy, and God responded by giving mercy. He instructed Moses to melt down brass and form it into the form of a serpent or a snake and put it on a pole and lift it high in the midst of the assembly. And all those who would simply look at that serpent or look up at the pole and the serpent on it would be miraculously healed. Now, why didn't God tell them to develop some medicine? Why not require them to work for their cure? Why, that would have satisfied every instinct of human nature to work my way out of the mess that I've gotten myself in. But they were told not to make a human remedy simply because there's a greater fact that there is no human remedy for sin. Nothing but death awaiting them unless God provides the solution, unless God provides the cure. So this incident in Israel's history becomes a prefiguring of Jesus Christ on the cross, who was lifted up, who became sin for us, so that salvation, spiritual healing, rebirth comes not by working, not by finding our cure, but just by looking at Him. And in that look, trusting in Him alone. You see, we've all been bitten by sin, ladies and gentlemen, and it is a fatal bite. The wages of sin is what? It's death. We need a solution. Now go back to verse 14. It says, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. The original word for lifted up is wonderful. It's a word that's used twice of Jesus' activity. Once when He's lifted up on the cross. The second time in the New Testament when He is lifted up by way of ascension. One was the lifting up on the cross to die. The other one was by means of His resurrection, ascension, being lifted up back into glory. For Jesus, there is a double lifting up. Jesus Christ then, by means of death on the cross and by means of resurrection, the fact that He is alive, that's the cure for the bite of sin. Now verse 15 says that whosoever or whoever believeth may in Him have eternal life. What does it mean to believe? What does it mean to be without a cure? You can't do anything but look at the pole, the cross, the person of Jesus Christ. When He is drunk of by individuals, they will never thirst again. You have to be reborn, rebuilt, if you ever hope to get to heaven. In this chapter, it tells us that the Son of Man descended from heaven. He came from heaven to earth. Why? So that you and I can go from earth to heaven. It's been said that the foot of the cross touched earth, declaring that God had moved to touch man, you and I. The top of the cross pointed heavenward as if to declare that there is now a way to go. There's a bridge. And the arms of the cross stretch outward as if to say, whosoever will may come, even me, even you.